So let's talk about Ynon. Ynon moved from board member in 2017 to chairman and CEO of Mattel in 2018. At the time he took the helm, he was Mattel's fourth CEO in 4 years, and it was a company, frankly, in crisis. Following 4 consecutive years of decline, Mattel had just reported a $1 billion loss, and its largest wholesale partner, Toys R Us, had just filed for bankruptcy. But the biggest tell-it-all for the new CEO was the 3-inch Mattel strategy binder. Seeing the company's potential beyond the toy aisle, Ynon Kreiz led his team to shrink that binder to 1 page, and in doing so, turned the loss into a profit. Under his leadership, Mattel has achieved significant improvements across multiple key financial metrics, strengthened its balance sheet, and restored the company to investment grade. Mattel ended 2023 in the strongest position that it's been in for years, and has transformed from a toy manufacturer that was making items, as we all know, now into an IP-driven, high-performing company making franchises. Mattel is owner of many of the world's most iconic toy brands that we've all grown up with. Barbie, of course, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, American Girl, and Uno, to name just a few. But the proof of the IP strategy certainly came in 2023, when the Barbie movie became the highest grossing movie of the year. $1.4 billion. And of course, we want to thank Ynon because we all had a great opportunity to not wear a black tie and to come in pink. So thank you. So Ynon and his younger sister, Elite, were born in Tel Aviv. Their dad was an engineer and their mom a psychologist. Ynon was a competitive wind and kite surfer and was an attaché for the Israeli Summer Olympic team in 2012. His wife, Unat Fabrikant, was actually a 2-time Olympic sailing champion. Not too shabby. Ynon got his BA in economics and management from Tel Aviv University and later moved to Los Angeles, where he received his MBA at UCLA Anderson. All of his past positions have truly prepared him for where he sits today. Fox Kids Europe, European VC, Benchmark Capital, Big Brother Production Company, Endemol, and Maker Studios, which was acquired by Disney. So I could not be more excited to welcome him to the Economic Club of Chicago today, Mattel's chairman and CEO, Ynon Kreiz. Okay, even my paper clips are pink, FYI. So, well, first of all, thank you so much for being here tonight. And this is quite a turnout, and I've never seen everybody look so fun and festive. So
it's great to be here and see so many Kens and so many Barbies, all on one.
We like to think so.
It's great.
What I'd like to do is talk a bit about Mattel and being the CEO of Mattel broadly, before we get into what I know everybody's very excited to learn more about, which is the Barbie movie and what comes after that. So we'll start there. I want to tell you that I do have my own copy of the 1-page strategy. It's real. Taking this down from a fat binder to a strategy. But let's just start with, first of all, congratulations on the amazing business turnaround that you've been leading. And you ended 2023 with the strongest balance sheet in years, capturing market share growth, which really matters. Momentum and market share matters. And of course, you just announced a huge share buyback. So congrats on all that. But let's just take a step back and say, how did it all start when you went from boardroom to CEO?
Well, Mattel is one of the most iconic companies in corporate America. And the evolution of the company, as you mentioned in your introduction, was to evolve from being a manufacturing company that was making items that you sell off a shelf to become an IP company that is managing franchises. And what we do matters. Our brands matter. Our children hug our product, they touch our product, and what we do is inspirational and really shapes culture. And we take that very seriously. And when I took over the role of CEO, I really believed in that responsibility and that we have an important role to play in shaping the future generation and really beyond that. And so the journey has been very much about transforming the company and thinking of people who buy our product not just as consumers, but as fans that have an emotional relationship with our brands and with what we do. And when you realize that you have a lot of fans, it's an audience. It becomes an audience. And when you're speaking to an audience, it's a very different conversation than talking to individuals and try to sell items off a shelf.
So, but when you look at your background, which has been, you've run businesses, but really in entertainment, maybe you could talk a little bit about how you got some early entertainment exposure as an intern. But, you know, how did you transfer that experience as an entertainment leader into running a large consumer products company? It's very different, right?
Yeah, what's so fascinating in the job and in what we do is that on one level you deal with very detailed operational elements, supply chain, going more capital-light, outsourcing manufacturing, managing SKUs, pricing, and relationship with retailers all over the world. We actually sell product in 500,000 different stores all over the world. So you have that highly operational part of the company. And on the other end, you're dealing with some of the most creative people in the world, in Hollywood. And you have to really realize that you are a creative company driven by innovation. And that is that is the art and science of running a company like Mattel, because creativity and innovation is our lifeblood. And this is what we have to always empower and promote within the company, to stimulate creativity. And then everything else is in service of that. Because if you are able to create unique product and resonate in culture, everything follows. And so we had to strengthen the company, reposition the operation to create a healthy platform. And once you have that in place and you establish strong connection with your fans, you can then continue to grow both the toy business as well as the entertainment side of the company.
Right, and I'd love to come back and talk about the toy category broadly, but staying on this, so how did you first think about building your leadership team as you came in as a CEO?
Yeah, we had to go through a major transformation. As you mentioned, I was the fourth CEO in 4 years, so we had to really change the company. We reduced the number of employees of the company from 13,500 to 8,500, so 5,000 job reduction, 35%. And within the 8,500 jobs that we kept, we changed over 3,000 people. In same job, different people. So we had to elevate and strengthen the capabilities that we had in the company. All the while that you're a competitive company, working in a competitive environment, publicly traded, so you couldn't just park the car, fix the company, and then get back on the road. It all had to be in motion while we continue to gain share and grow our business. And one of the things we're most proud of is that while we did all of that, and this is very taxing for any company to go through that type of transformation, we actually achieved the highest engagement score the company ever had in terms of morale and commitment to the company. So,
why do you think that is?
I think people want to be part of a winning team. Mm-hmm. And when they see that things are working and you're gaining share and you're performing, and even with a lot less resource, you're actually able to grow your business. We cut in the first 3 years of the journey more than $1 billion of cost. So even with lesser resources, you can actually achieve more. That is very empowering for the team, and people embrace that.
And what do you look for when you think about people on your leadership team? What are the traits that you look for?
You know, what I really believe in, and this is core to Mattel and our leadership values, are collaboration, innovation, and execution. And it's about working as a team, always trying to move the ball forward and find new ways to do things. And innovation doesn't need to be in a creative role necessarily. It can be in any job that you do within the company. And ultimately, it's about getting your job done. So we really focus on results, on performance. What we're also very proud of is that this one page that we now have as our strategy is cascaded to every single employee within the organization, so that every person within the enterprise knows exactly what they need to do that ladders up to the corporate objectives. And the message to the team is that if you do a job or do anything that you don't feel is advancing the company towards our goals, you're doing the wrong thing. And talk to your leader, raise your hand, and we need to find a way to give you the ability and the focus to support our company's goals.
So great lessons in leadership. And we're going to get to all the movie stuff soon, but I really want to focus on really running the company as you're doing. And maybe step back and just talk about state of the toy industry, right? Because obviously you have a whole IP business that you can run for years now, that you've got a formula, hopefully, that you'll continue to execute. But the core products, so the industry, the role of physical versus digital, where you see that's all heading, and how do you think about the innovation pipeline in toys?
Yeah, the toy industry is a great industry. It's $100 billion in size, approximately, at the global level. And toys is really part of fundamental human behavior. Children play, and children play with toys. And this has been probably since the beginning of times and will never change. And when it comes to quality product, parents will always prioritize spending money on their children, especially when it's supported by strong brands. Retailers love the toy aisle, the toy business, because the toy aisle drives traffic. It's experiential, and they're very supportive of the category. We also saw the industry growing for more than 10 years, in spite of the Toys R Us decline. And in 2021, the industry reached an all-time high. This is following 25% increase between 2019 and 2021, so all-time high during the pandemic. It stayed flat in 2022 and declined 7% in 2023, but it's still 17% higher than 2019 pre-pandemic. So we see the toy industry as a very healthy category. It is driven by innovation and very much dependent on strong brands and great product. But this is what we're here to do, to continue to innovate.
And you believe in the role of physical play, physical toys?
Absolutely. Physical play is here to stay.
Yeah.
Physical play is core part of every child's behavior. That said, we all know that children spend more and more time online, and the competition for share of mind is growing. And this is where the second part of our strategy comes into play. Because as a company, as an owner of one of the most iconic portfolios of children and family entertainment franchises in the world, we have an opportunity to participate not just in the toy business, but in other categories that are also driven by big brands, big known franchises that have a built-in fan base. And this is the entertainment strategy of the company.
Well, that's a good pivot. Well, first of all, before we do that, let me ask one question. Who do you think you guys compete with? Who do you consider your competitive set?
The people tend to compare us to our closest competitor, which is Hasbro. Mattel and Hasbro have been always in the same toy aisle, but we very much evolved, and the analogy for our entertainment strategy that we've been referring to is more the Marvel story. Marvel used to be a comic book publisher, and by the way, got also to a very difficult financial situation until it was acquired by Disney, and Disney reinvented the model and executed at the highest level and created one of the most successful entertainment franchises in the history. And so we don't call it a one-for-one example, but we do call it an analogy in terms of the journey that can start from anywhere. You can start the journey being a comic book publisher. You can also start the journey being an owner of animated characters, which is where the ultimate IP company started.
Right.
Or you can start a journey as a toy company. And what we like about our position is, given the emotional relationship that children and families have with our brands, we have a very high level of engagement to drive that strategy forward. Because toys are tactile. So it's not in the abstract, it's not a concept, you touch it. And that increases your engagement and the emotional relationship that you have with our brands.
Yeah, I love a quote that I read that you said, "We embrace culture and are taking brands that are timeless and making them timely." As well as, I think you might have said something along these lines, our brands are so much more than toys.
That's right.
So it's an amazing foundation to base off of. And would you say that Mattel is now a toy company with an entertainment division, an entertainment company with a toy division, or describe more broadly what you're about?
Well, we're absolutely evolving towards becoming a family entertainment company. This is not instead of toys. Toys is still foundational to what we do. It's still where we make most of our revenue and profit. But clearly the weight and the opportunity is growing on the entertainment side. And that has been the strategy from day one, to continue to evolve our business and capture more and more value from our IP. The Barbie movie, which I assume we might talk about in a couple of minutes,
yes.
was a showcase. It was really a template. We always thought of it as a first effort to participate in the industry, but that is not the only thing that we have done, and not the only area that we're looking to grow and participate.
Right, and do you think that, because the notion of making entertainment out of the properties has been on the drawing board for a long time. Do you think it took somebody like you, with your background in entertainment, to be able to come in and begin to really see this come to life?
The beauty of our strategy is that it's almost obvious. Why wouldn't you cut $1 billion of cost and go more capital-light to strengthen your core toy business? Why wouldn't you take incredible brands, iconic IP that are timeless, and make them timely, and start capturing value in other categories? And it's not that we're saying that the future and the upside will come from AR or VR that has not yet been proven. This is all through mainstream verticals: film, television, parks, music, consumer product and merchandise, digital, all mainstream verticals. And other companies have done it very successfully. There's Fast and Furious 10 and Hot Wheels 0. Lego was able to make great movies out of bricks with no character. and look at what the catalog that we own, the portfolio that we own.
Yeah.
So it was very much about not whether it's the right strategy, but question number one was, can the brands that we own actually translate to other verticals? That was a question. And the second question, which was a bigger question, is, can we do that? And we believe that, yes, our brands do translate to other categories, and yes, we can do that.
Well, I think you're showing that, because you have had one of the highest grossing movies of all time as the first place to start. Just reflecting on the Barbie movie, obviously, it's an unbelievable phenomenon. And Ynon, we're talking about this, at dinner, just the power that, in terms of bringing people together, and how much we still want to wear pink. We still want to celebrate something that is fun and cultural and of the moment. I know that you believe that this had to break molds. And, my reflection when I first heard that this movie was being made, and I know, the purpose of Barbie is to inspire the limitless potential in everybody. But when I first heard the Barbie movie, I thought, well, that's not for me. And then I read that Greta Gerwig was directing it, and I said, okay, something is happening here. I've been a fan of hers since, she did Lady Bird and Frances Ha. And so from the start, I'd love to hear your point of view, because you really created something that's iconic, has a true feminist point of view, took a lot of courage, and obviously worked. So tell us more about, how did you know that the script was going to work? How nervous were you? And we'll show a clip in a minute and see how you really feel, okay?
Yeah, when I joined the company, the concept of capturing value in entertainment was core to the whole thesis, the whole approach. And this is, right at the very beginning, in the first 3 weeks of me joining the company, while we had a couple of other issues within the operations, we wanted to start to activate the entertainment strategy. So the question was, how do we make it complicated? What would be the most complicated and challenging project? And of course, this is Barbie. And not just Barbie, because it could have been animated, but let's make it Barbie live action. And if we want to do that, who would be the ultimate Barbie? And there's only one. And this is Margot Robbie. So I actually reached out to our agent, who's also there, Margot's agent at CAA, and they introduced us. And this is 3 weeks into the job, is when I asked him to make the introduction. And we met literally 2 or 3 weeks right after that. And my idea was that this is not about trying to make a movie to sell toys. It's not even about making a movie. It's about creating a cultural phenomenon. We are trying to create a societal moment, a societal event. And the focus was about quality, making something that will stand out, that will be unique and original, and break convention. We didn't want to do something that would be trivial and obvious, because that would not break through, especially in such a crowded market where there's so many other movies and other people doing other things. We had to do something original and unique. And Margot, who's an amazing person, other than being a great actor, partnered right away. We then we debated between a few studios, but Warner Brothers was a very natural partner. They really saw the potential. Toby Emmerich, who was the chairman of the studio, saw the opportunity. And we started to develop the concept, and everyone was in about creating something original and unique. And Margot was the one who actually suggested to bring Greta Gerwig to write initially, and then together with Noah Baumbach, her partner, and then ended up coming to direct the movie. And the process along the way was all about creativity and creating something original and unique that will stand out. And this is what happened. And a big part of the success of the movie is really a combination of things. But it's about great vision, great creative vision of Greta, great execution, a great cast, great music, great everything about it. Of course, the marketing was key. And ultimately, a great brand that is the foundation of
right, and a brand that we can all relate to. And so many little moments that were just so perfect, like when her foot went from the arch to flat. We all know that Barbie foot, right? Or the Barbie who we cut the hair and draw on. I mean, it was just like so many brilliant insights. But so the global nature of it, I was traveling around the world in my new role at the time, and I could not believe, and I really applaud your team on the unbelievable global execution. I mean, it was everywhere. It was in Europe, it was in Asia, of course, all over the US. Executed perfectly. How did you pull that off?
Yeah, that was actually one of the reveals, of the big discoveries, even within our own world, to realize that we actually have, as a company, we have an incredible capacity to create events and to promote something and turn that into a cultural phenomenon. And this is something we actually do every single day. We have been marketing our product for decades with no movies. We do it every year in and year out. Except what happened here, we took this capacity, this capability, and pointed it on the movie and started to amplify the marketing that Warner Brothers did within their movie distribution expertise, and they've done a very good job on that. And we came over it and amplified the engagement through the 500,000 stores where we sell product, with our people on the ground, 165 different consumer product partners that promoted the movie in their channels. And the idea was about how do you connect people, how do you create and make it and create a societal connection that people care about. Now, Barbie has already been a cultural phenomenon even before the movie. And Barbie was the #1 toy brand in the world for 2 years in a row, before the movie. But it was within the toy world or within the younger demographics. It wasn't really aiming at all the demographics, or men for that matter. And just like you, a lot of people thought they would not be interested in the movie. Right. And the genius of Greta is that she took a concept which is to inspire the limitless potential in every girl and made that movie relevant to everybody across all demographics and different ages, different generations, all over the world. And then with that engagement in our marketing and what Warner Brothers did on the ground in terms of how we continue to engage fans and build the momentum along the way, is how you achieve this, this reach.
And did you know when you first read, I know the script, there's probably many iterations of the script, but, and maybe it helps that you have a background in the creative industry, but did you know upon reading the script, okay, this is gonna work? Or when did you know it was gonna work?
Yes, you know, the script is not, was not a trivial script, which is something we actually wanted. It's not that we were afraid of it. We wanted something that would be different. And I can tell you this is a kind of script. You can't just read the script. You have to read through the script and imagine what is actually said. Because if you read the actual word verbatim, it's
like
not,
I'm just a Ken. That would be hard to picture where that's going.
If, you know, if you read the script and Barbie is a fascist and Mattel is the worst in corporate America and the CEO is not that smart, is one story.
Read right through it.
If you know that Will Ferrell is playing the CEO, it's a not, you would understand where it's heading. But when you read the script, you didn't know.
Well, that's maybe a good paradigm, a good segue to something, which is, I love the fact that you took on corporate America. I love the fact that you took on the patriarchy. You took it all on. So let's show, we only have one clip, but let's show it. It's kind of a fun moment. I thought they cut a little early. I want to hear him say, go back in your box, Jezebel. So that was a moment when I really realized that you guys were courageous and were willing to let yourselves be made fun of a little bit. And I told Ynon a funny story. It's a great example of the paradigms that we carry forward. It was actually a beautiful moment to see Barbie. All of a sudden you realize her whole world was all women until she walked into that room. And I told Ynon that when I started my career early in the 80s, and I worked at Quaker Oats in the consumer packaged goods world. Anyways, I had all bosses that were women for the first like 10, 15 years of my career. And when PepsiCo bought our company, and we met our new CEO, and I went home, and my son was like 10 at the time. I said, oh, we met our new CEO today. And he said, what is she like? And I was like, oh, wow, okay, his paradigm was only female bosses. So it's what I love about that, and the fact that, you know, the executive team was running around a bit like the Keystone Cops in the movie, and you had Will Ferrell playing you. So talk a little bit about the courage to do all that. I mean, that was awesome.
Look, I've been a huge fan of Will ever since the Zoolander days.
Yes. Who doesn't love Elf? I mean, all of it.
Yes, and look, he can definitely get away with a lot more than I can as CEO. But he's a great guy. He's really funny in real life as well. And he's fun. And as it happens, his son and my daughter, our eldest daughter, were in the same grade, same school in LA. And when we met before the movie was shot, but he was hired to play the role. So we meet, and he tells his son in front of me, can you believe he is actually letting me play him? And that's when I said, okay, this is probably going to be a bit edgy, but I'm going to roll with it. And it was great.
Were there any moments that you were worried or you had doubts as you saw it coming together?
You know, I really believed in Greta. I believed in the creative process, and no, I knew it would be something unique and special. You know, and it's interesting, even before the script was finished, and before the movie was greenlit, I met with Greta in London, and she was already starting to think about the set and the way the movie would look before the story was complete. And we were in a pretty big room, and the room had different mood boards, mood areas, to show the type of look and feel that different scenes or parts of the movie, of the set will have. So there was the Barbie land, the real world, the beach, and probably 10 or 12 different areas, or relating or representing different moods. And we walked across them, and each one was pretty quick, and then we stood in front of the pink mood board area. And we stood there for almost half an hour, and she was describing the exact shade of pink that she had in mind. And I'm thinking, I didn't even realize that many shades of pink to process, but 10 minutes into this conversation, I knew she's going to get it. I knew she has it, she got it. If she is that detailed and thinks about the pink at that degree, we're in good hands. And I always had real confidence in her because as singularly focused as she is and very strong-minded, she's also a great collaborator and a real amplifier of talent. It was a happy set. She made everybody feel comfortable and engaged, and she really got the best in everyone on the set. And that's what a great leader needs to do, especially for in such a creative environment that is being built and created along the way. She was really a.
Do you think, as a female director and leader, that was a real strength she brought?
I think she has a lot of dimensions, and yes, she did bring a lot of that and real understanding and sensitivity to current culture. She was 35 at the time, years old at the time. She loves Barbie. She knew Barbie. She studied Barbie, and she took the time to really learn and understand what Barbie is about. She actually came early on to Mattel, spent time with our team to go through a whole, immersion into the brand, into our learnings and what we know about the brand, what worked, what didn't work, what people are sensitive to, or what you can get away with, all in the service and about being authentic to the experience what the brand represents.
And I actually think that's the most courageous aspect of the movie. I mean, portraying yourselves in a light that's funny is one thing, but it has a very feminist take. And I think that, kind of exploring that notion of what Barbie can represent in terms of idealized beauty standards, right? And then really reframing it, it really worked very well. But that was a part that I think was kind of courageous. So how do you come out of this loving Barbie even more, which I think we did?
Yes, people ask me, how did you let it happen? Because we had approval rights along the way, of course. It's our brand, and it's not that we let it happen. We wanted it to happen. We wanted to break convention. We not just embraced it, but we amplified it. And this is exactly what we wanted, to do something that will be unique, that will have a voice, and at the same time, give and trust Greta, give her the creative freedom to interpret Barbie in her way that was always going to be authentic. And we saw it playing out, in this day and age, especially when you're speaking to children, you have to be authentic. Children are the most sophisticated consumer out there. You can't fake it. They will see right through it. So everything that we do has to be organic, has to be real, has to be authentic. And the movie is very much about that. Everything is on the table, and we not just embrace, but amplify it. And likewise, in terms of the marketing of the movie, Warner Brothers came up with a genius line to promote the movie, which was, if you love Barbie, this movie is for you. If you hate Barbie, this movie is for you.
Yeah.
And initially, some people, within Mattel say, well, nobody hates Barbie. Why hate Barbie? But we said it's okay. We can take that. We can be self-deprecating, and we're confident enough to know who we are, what we stand for, what are our values. And even when it comes to the boardroom, all being men, the reality is that half of our board, half of our independent directors are women, 5 out of 10. Yes. And Diana Ferguson on our board is right here as well. Thank you, Diana.
Well, another aspect of the movie that I'm sure many people here love was America Ferrera's speech. It's literally impossible to be a woman. And I think that works on so many levels for anybody who's felt, not just women, but anybody who's felt up against a double standard or, it was too long to play the clip tonight. But I do have one. I've been writing additional stanzas in my head. So can I give you one?
Yes.
Okay. So you're supposed to be a woman who can juggle it all and do it all, but you walk on a plane with a crying baby and everybody's annoyed. But if you're a man who walks on a plane with a crying baby, everybody says, isn't that cute? How can I help? But her whole speech is just, I've watched it several times and read it. It's just very cool. So that was a special moment. And what did you think about that and when you read it in the script?
I did think it's one of the highlights of the movie. It really captures so much of the essence of what the movie is about. I thought America did an amazing job playing it, and she's nominated now for a Best Supporting Actor in a female role, and she is great. And you know, I grew up in a home with a wife that I admire in terms of how much she can do in raising our children. 4 kids in 5 years. A lot to do, and 3 amazing girls, all very strong-willed and very capable. So this is and a son as well, not to forget, a great son.
You can be a CEO too someday.
Yeah, and so I know that world all too well, and I admire what women can do. It can be challenging.
So we have to talk about the award season. I know you guys have been very busy, and you've been probably to a ton of events. The movie's up for many awards. What's your take on the controversy, the Barbie Oscar controversy? How do you feel about how that's all playing out?
You know, the way we feel about it is that we already won before the award season even started.
Yeah. Hear, hear.
Yeah, and if someone said at the start of the journey, by the way, you're going to be nominated to 8 Academy Awards, we'll say, really? Okay, we'll take that. Turns out the movie was actually nominated to more than 450 different awards between all of the awards and competitions out there. And it really is, I mean, it's great to be recognized just by being nominated. But we're just so proud of this creation. And more than that, it's really how people all over the world connected and embraced this experience, which resonated way outside of the theaters, the movie theaters.
So you've built an amazing capability. I know running a public company, you know, it's always a little bit about what are you doing, what's come lately, what's coming next. So talk about, you know, what you see in the pipeline, what you're most excited about, especially in this arena as you guys are continuing the entertainment space.
Yes, in our world, it's what have you done for me tomorrow? And it really is about constant evolution. It's a journey. By no stretch, we believe that we have arrived with this movie. We really think of this movie as one showcase, a great one, of course, but it's one showcase, one template. And it's not just about Barbie, and it's not just about movies. We've been making tremendous progress in television, in consumer product and merchandise, in location-based entertainment, in digital, in publishing. We partner with great companies out there, and we work in a partnership model. So we actually, on the film side, just to come back to that, we've announced 15 other movies in development right now, other than Barbie. And we collaborate with some of the most prolific filmmakers out there. We have Tom Hanks, we developed a movie around Major Matt Mason, Matchbox with Skydance, which produced Top Gun and Mission Impossible, Hot Wheels with J.J. Abrams at Warner Brothers, Polly Pocket with Lily Collins and Lena Dunham, Rock'em Sock'em Robots with Vin Diesel, and
not too shabby.
We just announced our first animated movie, Bob the Builder, with Jennifer Lopez and Anthony Ramos, which has more of a Hispanic angle as an animated movie with Shadow Machine.
Did you have all those people in the pipeline already before Barbie got so big, or has it just changed the game with how the success you've had?
No, we actually, so we have been entering these development arrangements or partnerships with all these filmmakers before Barbie came out. But it's fair to say that since Barbie has been such a success, it accelerated a couple of conversations.
I would think so.
And we definitely very much opened the aperture. And what really happened is people now understand the potential in our brands. And what you said earlier, how you take these iconic, timeless brands and create something that is very current and very timely with societal impact is very unique. And what we've shown through the Barbie movie is that it's not just that our brands work in movies, but that we know how to collaborate with creative talent, how to attract and amplify creative talent, and also that we can market and turn movies into something that is much more than that in terms of cultural events and societal moments.
I think it was a catalyst to get people back into the movie theater. And I can't imagine sitting through both Barbie and Oppenheimer, but apparently a lot of people didn't. I think you helped make that movie be more successful. Besides movies, what other aspects of entertainment are you most excited about getting into with your properties?
You know, Mattel Television is thriving. We have 12 different shows, including a movie that we are launching in 2024. So this is with all of our big brands, including a live-action musical for Monster High on Nickelodeon, animated series for Monster High, animated series for Masters of the Universe, for Thomas, for Fireman Sam, Polly Pocket. So some great television shows that will come, and we already seen some great success last year with the first Hot Wheels primetime show on NBC that we premiered last year. We're also seeing real opportunity around theme parks. We're launching our first theme park in Arizona, in Glendale, just outside of Glendale, Arizona. It's a branded theme park called Mattel Adventure Park with all of our brands, 11 different attractions based on our IP, which is really exciting. This is also in partnership, so we didn't actually build it ourselves, but we licensed the brand, we licensed our properties, and we participate in the experience as the owner of these brands. And the point is that in today's world, with unlimited distribution, with ubiquitous opportunity for people to consume events, experiences, content, everyone is looking for big brands, big franchises that rise above the competition and have a built-in fan base. It is really, really hard to create new big franchises, and it's almost impossible to be successful unless you own or you have access to those. So everything we see today in the entertainment landscape is all about either creating or accessing big franchises that everybody knows. And the Barbie movie is one obvious example to that. And so when you own one of the strongest portfolios in the world for children and family entertainment, opportunities are everywhere. And it's a big canvas of where we go, who we partner with, and how we continue to create authentic experiences that amplify that brand engagement. And so we've been very fortunate to collaborate with great partners. This is part of the model, part of the way we think of it, because we cannot do all of it alone. So we had to do it through partnerships, and by picking and partnering with the right people, we've been very successful in advancing our strategy as far as we did so far.
That is amazing. That's a very confident vision and very inspiring vision, and I see a lot of growth ahead. You know, an area that we haven't talked about yet, and we're getting closer to the end of our time, is just you as a person, your leadership journey. I'd love to know more about that. Let's just start with the fact that I know sports have been an important part of your life, right? So you were, I think you still are, I should say, a kite surfer, a windsurfer. Your wife was an Olympic sailor, right? So I'm sure that's been a part of kind of leading, forming you as a leader. So talk about the role of sport in your life.
Yes, I've been doing sports all my life. It's still something I do every day. I believe in a healthy mind and a healthy body as much as you can control. Not everything is in our control, but at least try to live a healthy lifestyle. And it's something that I try to promote within my family and within Mattel as well, and promote that. And I believe sport also brings discipline, competitive nature, and teamwork in terms of collaboration. So it's embedded in the way I look at the world and how I see things.
And talk a little bit about just your leadership journey. I mean, I just want to go back to that. Some of the people that have inspired you and helped form you as a leader, and how people describe you as a leader.
You know, I really believe in people. I've been fortunate to be around smart, inspiring people. My mentor back in the day was Chaim Saban, and I always said that I got my BA in Tel Aviv University, my MBA at Anderson School at UCLA, and my PhD with Chaim Saban in working with him as an entrepreneur. I'm very fortunate to work with incredible people at Mattel, and very fortunate to work with incredible investors like John Rogers and Melody Hobson, who are big and some of our most important investors within the company. And I draw inspiration from the people that we work with, that I collaborate with, and I try to learn from my peers, my colleagues, every single day.
And how does your team describe you as a leader?
This is something you have to ask them.
I will. I have.
They might say I'm just like Will Ferrell, or maybe not. But I believe in empowering the team and creating the best environment for people to be at the very best. At Mattel, we really try to create an environment of excellence where we support the people, try to amplify what they bring to the table, and believe in flexibility, in trust, and amplify what they do. And we're very fortunate we've been recognized, by every important institution for our achievement in workplace culture. And I really do believe in culture. One of the very first things I've done when I came to the company, other than the one-page strategy, we worked really hard to define what is our mission, what is our purpose, because without that, you don't have a North Star. The purpose of empowering the next generation to explore the wonder of childhood and reach the full potential is core to what we do. Our mission to create innovative product and experiences that inspire, entertain, and develop children through play is the what we do every single day. And so we defined that. We defined our leadership value. We defined our product attributes, our brand promise, and all of that to create a framework that people can relate to and understand and know why do they come to work. And this is something that in today's world, I believe, matter more than ever. People want to know that what they do matter outside of the working hours, and that it actually has impact on the world. And in Mattel, we actually do have impact on the world. What we do, whether it's a new Barbie doll, a new Hot Wheels car, a new career, a new American Girl, Girl of the Year, or a Matchbox release, it's newsworthy. You read about toys that we release in Good Morning America, or Time Magazine, or CNN, because it matters. And so with that, going back to what I said in the beginning, you have a responsibility, but also a great privilege. And if you embrace it, and if you stay authentic to your purpose and mission, you can achieve great things. But you really have to embed it in culture. And given with our journey in terms of where we came from and where we are today, outside of the financial performance and gaining share and the success of the Barbie movie, it has to be rooted in strong culture. And this is why we believe the company is so well positioned to continue to do great things because of that strong foundation.
Was the vision and mission something that you took your team and worked on together, or did you say, here it is?
No, in the beginning, I dove in. I was new, so I looked at different things that we do and what we used to say, and try to keep, have continuity, so you don't just completely blow up everything and reinvent the wheel. Because Mattel has always been a great company. It's not that it was a bad company that became a good company. It's always been a great company. But where we went wrong, some of it was self-inflicted, and some of it was true real conditions, but it was really our responsibility to course correct and build upon the great capabilities that we had at the company. So initially, I really dove in, but very quickly brought the team together and we fine-tuned it, and we continue to do that, and it's something that we do until today. Along the way, we continue to fine-tune and evolve and adjust some of what we do, including our one page. That we make some modifications as we continue to evolve. It used to be, our one-page strategy used to say, restore profitability and regain top-line growth. And then once we restored profitability, it's all about accelerating top-line growth and continue to grow profitability. So we make these adjustments, and every iterations like that, we absolutely bring the team together. And we get feedback from everyone to make sure that we're all on the same bus, and we share the vision and share the approach.
Well, and one thing we haven't talked about yet as you talk about vision and mission is how does that dovetail with your priorities around things like environmental priorities, things like the Mattel Children's Foundation? Perhaps you can talk about those.
Yeah, we do a lot as a company in terms of social responsibility. We do numerous events and activities in terms of from philanthropy to toy donation to supporting important causes, and our people on the ground volunteering or leading events like in support of UCLA. There's a party on the pier Santa Monica Pier that we do every year in that collaboration. So it's important to continue to give, and as much as you give, you get it back in spades. And our company truly loves being engaged and connected to culture and playing an important role in society.
Okay, so we're going to just do a few short questions here at the end, a little rapid fire, just to have a little fun. But before we do, I just have to say I learned something about you that makes a very special connection to you with children and babies, which is talk about how your fourth child was born, because this is pretty epic and it's not known.
Well,
that Ynon is also a doctor. No, just kidding.
No, what Mary is saying, I had the privilege of delivering our fourth daughter personally.
I mean, who hasn't done that, right? He's a superhero. Yeah. Okay, so just a few quick questions. What is the one sport you're not good at?
One sport I would have loved to be good at is tennis.
Tennis, okay. It's not too late for you. Who's a better athlete, you or your wife?
My wife, of course.
Perfect answer. What was your favorite toy as a child?
Hot Wheels.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that.
True.
Did you have a Ken doll?
No, but my sister did play with Barbie and Ken.
Okay, if you were Ken, astronaut Ken or beach bum Ken?
That's an easy one. Of course,
beach bum Ken. I know, I figured. Are you getting tired of wearing pink?
I love pink.
Oh.
Became my favorite color.
Oh, I love that. Is there one last piece of advice you could give to the business community here? Everybody's so wrapped with attention to your journey and the success you're showing us, but what's your last piece of advice?
You know, it's not for me to give advice to some great people in this room, and just to say, I really had the honor before we walked into this room to meet some of the people, and I'm so impressed by the quality and the values that people have here. Very diverse group of all walks of life and business, and it's inspiring to be part of this, and truly to sit in this chair on this stage where I know who was here before is an honor, a privilege, from Martin Scorsese to President Obama. So I'm humbled to be here as well in their where they grace the stage.
Well said. So with that,
But I think it's a tribute to this organization, the fact that you can bring and attract people of that caliber. So just great to be here.
Thank you. And with that, I just want to thank you, Ynon, for traveling far to come here, to giving us your time tonight. And it's been wonderful. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.